Okay, welcome back. Let's talk about equation of a line where we apply the slopes. We have two types of equations that we're going to be working with here. One is called the slope-intercept form. This is the one that you mostly see where we have y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept would look something like 0, b. All right, it would literally on the graph be on the y-axis, but in this case, we might not even see a graph. The other type of equation we're using is the point-slope form. And this equation is kind of a breakdown of the slope-intercept form. So we have y minus y1 equals m multiplied by x minus x1, where x1, y1 is any point on the line, and m is the slope of the line. So in this case, we have two different types of equations, but essentially they all run the same way. We have a slope and we have a point. One point is more specific than the other. However, both are useful. So let's go over a few of these examples, shall we? Write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line with slope of -1 and y-intercept of 4. So we're saying here that m is equal to -1. We're also saying that b is equal to 4. And so since we have this, the slope and the intercept, we're going to be using the slope-intercept form, which essentially is y equals mx plus b. And so we're just going to say y equals, and our slope is going to be -1, x plus our y-intercept. Now, we're not done. This is not how we like to write our equations. It looks kind of sloppy. So therefore, I'm going to write our equation as y equals -x plus 4. And usually, yes, you can write it as 4 minus x if you wanted to, just so you don't have like a negative in the first term, but it really doesn't matter. This tells us that our slope is down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, starting at 4 on the y-axis. Now, let's look at number 2, where we still need to write an equation in slope-intercept form, but this time we're given a slope, -3 over 5, but we're also given just a regular point somewhere on the line. Well, here we need to start with point-slope form. And we need to go into slope-intercept form. So let's do this. Essentially, we have our x1 and we have our y1 and we have our slope. And so when we use this equation, the point-slope form states that y minus y1 is equal to the slope multiplied by x minus x1. Well, this is in point-slope form, but we need to write this in slope-intercept form. So what we need to do is we need to solve for y. We need to do some manipulation. So let's rewrite this. Y minus 8 equals negative 3 over 5 multiplied by x plus 10. We're now going to distribute that fraction into the grouping. Okay, so we're going to say y minus 8. We haven't done anything to the left-hand side. And we're going to say negative 3 over 5 multiplied by x minus, this is going to be 10 times 3/5, or 3/5 times 5. Well, 10 divided by 5 is 2, and we get 6. Now we can add 8 to both sides. Let's add 8 to both sides. And now we end up with y equaling negative 3/5 x plus 2. And so therefore, our equation for this line is going to be y equals negative 3/5 x plus 2. And so starting at 2 on the y-axis, we can move down 3 and over 5 to find our next point. And therefore, when we graph our line, we know that we'll end up going through negative 10, 8 at some point. Number 3, write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line containing 4, 9, and negative 2, 0. Well, let's take a look at what we have. We have 2 points. We learned from earlier in this lesson that if we have 2 points, we're not given a slope. We can find the slope given 2 points. So let's find this slope. First, find the slope. We're going to say the change in y is equal to 9 minus 0, which is going to give us 9. The change in x is going to give us 4 minus negative 2, which is going to give us 6. And so our slope, let's do this again. And so our slope is going to equal 9 over 6, which equals 3 over 2. Now that's our slope. Now we can choose any of these. Okay? So the second part, we're going to take the slope and the point and use point slope form. And so what we're going to say is I'm going to go, all right, well, we're going to say we have x1, y1. Let's just stick with that. And so I'm going to say y minus 0 is equal to our m 3 over 2 multiplied by x minus the negative 2. Let's simplify this. Y minus 0 is just y. Y equals 3 over 2 multiplied by x plus 4. But we don't want brackets. We don't want groupings. So we're going to say y equals 3 over 2x plus 6. Now this is already in slope-intercept form, so we don't need to change it. If we use the other point, we would have to do some math, and we would have to add a number or subtract a number from both sides in order to isolate y. And so therefore, our line here is going to be y equals 3 over 2 x plus 6, which tells us that we're going to start at point 6 on the y-axis, and we're going to move up 3 over 2 to find our next point, and then we can draw a line through that, and we'll notice that we're going to go through the point 4, 9 as well. Lastly, we're going to talk about when you're given a line already, the equation of a line, and we need to find it another line which is either perpendicular or parallel to it. And so let's take a look at this. We're looking for a line that's perpendicular to this line but goes through 2, 0. Well, in this case, we have this slope here, which equals 1/5. But remember, in order for our slope, so if we want to say our slope is perpendicular to, let's say, slope 2, this implies that the slope multiplied by the second slope is equal to -1. So we need to say multiplied by what gives us -1. And let's just, this is the slope that we're looking for. And so in this case, our second slope, or the slope that we're looking for, is going to be -5. And once again, look at this. We have x1, y1. And so we're going to take this and we're going to plug it into our slope, our point slope form. Point slope form is going to be your biggest friend. Y minus 0 equals -5 times x minus 2. There we go. Let's simplify. Y equals -5 times x minus 2. And let's distribute. Y equals -5x plus 10. And so therefore the line that is perpendicular to this line is going to be y equals -5x plus 10. Thank you for listening. Please bring your notes into the next class for checking. Have a great day. Bye, guys.